Have you ever felt lost? Like you are walking in circles, not knowing which way to go? Have you ever wondered why the peace you so desperately seek always seems to be just out of reach? Today there is a message for you, something that could change everything you've experienced. I know that you have doubts, that the weight of life sometimes seems unbearable. But what if I told you that the answer you've been searching for is much closer than you think? Stay with me to the end and find out how you can find the peace you're looking for, even in the most difficult situations. Sometimes it seems like life is a constant noise, doesn't it? The hustle and bustle of everyday life, the demands that never stop coming, the responsibilities that never rest. With so many voices and distractions, it's easy to lose touch with what really matters: yourself. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself if you are listening to what really matters, what touches your soul and brings peace to your heart? Often you look for answers in distant places, outside of yourself, trying to find meaning in things or even people around you. But the truth is, the answer you're looking for is already with you, right here within you. I'm speaking to you now here, because there is something you need to hear, something profound and simple that will change the way you look at life. I see the struggles that you face. I know that you carry your fears, your doubts, and sometimes you feel that everything around you is out of control. But what you may not realize is that all of this, all of the weight you feel, can be transformed. When you open up to hearing the truth that I'm talking about, you begin to realize that you are not alone, that you actually already have the peace and the answer that you've been searching for. It is within your grasp. The problem is not in your search, but in how you go about it. Often you look from the outside in, when the real transformation is within. When you truly listen to me, when you allow yourself to hear the silence between your thoughts, you begin to realize a truth that is universal and timeless. Everything you need is already within you. Perhaps you haven't fully understood this yet, but the key to peace, hope, and serenity is available to you. Most of us feel lost because we believe that peace depends on what is outside of us. What if you imagined for a moment that it's not what's around you that needs to change, but your way of seeing and understanding the world? The path to true transformation begins with inner change, and believe me, it's not impossible. I'm here to guide you through it. It's not something you have to look for somewhere far away, but something you can access right now, the moment you choose to stop and listen. As you begin to listen with your heart, the answer will become clearer. I will be with you in the softness of my words, and you will realize that you have always known the way, even if at one point you felt lost. The answer you need is not a secret kept somewhere far away. It's something you already know, but maybe you've forgotten. So now take a deep breath and allow yourself to feel. What are you feeling right now? And more importantly, what is this feeling trying to tell you? Often our emotions are the first signs of what we need to hear, what connects us to the divine within. I'm here to help you understand this. It's no coincidence that you're hearing these words right now. What I have for you is something simple but powerful, something that will change the way you see life. I know that you have doubts. I know that sometimes the weight of decisions and responsibilities seems to crush you, but know this: all you have to do is listen. Listen to what's inside of you. Listen to the silence that speaks louder than words. And when you do, you'll find that you're closer to peace than you ever imagined. It's not far away, it's very close. And maybe you forgot about it for a moment, but today is the day to remember. Now think, what have you been carrying alone? Is there something you need to hand over? A worry, a doubt, a pain that you can no longer carry? For I see that what you need most, more than any external response, is trust. Trust in the process. Trust in yourself. Trust in what's inside you. I know what you feel, but more than that, I'm here to remind you that if you listen and trust, you will find your way to the peace you so desperately crave. It doesn't matter what has happened, what you have experienced, or what has brought you here. The journey of transformation begins when you allow yourself to listen. True change comes when you understand that what you are seeking is already within you, waiting to be recognized. There is nothing more to look for outside of yourself. That's the first step, listening. Pay attention to what is already in your heart. There is no mystery, no secret, just a call for you to look inside and recognize what is already available to you. And when you take that step, something begins to happen, as if your life has a new meaning. Something is released, something is transformed, something begins to flow more easily. When this happens, you realize that you are no longer alone in your quest, because this connection to the divine is with you. And somehow, you understand that everything you were looking for outside of yourself was already waiting for you inside. Now, as you move forward, you begin to realize that there may be something even deeper to understand. Something beyond what you thought was resolved. How many times have you found yourself running after something, looking for an answer, a solution to the problems that arise in your life? I know you feel the pressure to find answers in distant places, as if everything you need is out of reach. But I'm here to tell you that what you're looking for is not as far away as you think. It's inside you, just around the corner, waiting to be discovered. If you stop and think for a moment, you'll realize that many of your deepest answers come not from an external source but from your own heart. Everything you really need is already there, inside you. The real answer lies not in complicated strategies or magic formulas, but in the simple act of listening to yourself. What are you feeling? What is stored in your chest, waiting to be released? Often, you get distracted by so many things around you, looking for solutions that seem to have the power to change your life. But if you look closely, you'll find that the most powerful answers come when you begin to look within. I know this may sound too simple for the complexity of your life, but it is simplicity that brings clarity. Everything you need is in the way you look at things, in the way you relate to your own essence. When I spoke of the kingdom of God, I invited you to look within, to realize that real change begins when you reconnect with what is already in your heart. You don't have to go far to find the peace or wisdom you seek. Sometimes the greatest wisdom lies in the simple act of listening and letting go of what is preventing you from seeing what is already within your reach. You have this power, this wisdom within you. Perhaps you haven't realized it yet, but the answer you are looking for does not depend on something you have yet to achieve, but on something you already have. When you stop looking far away in the outside world and start listening to what is at the core of your being, the answers will come clearly. The feeling of being lost will disappear because you will realize that you have always had the key to transformation within you. Many people, when they are in crisis, look to the future, can despair, as if tomorrow is the solution to their problems. But the future will never give you what you need if you cannot find the answer in the present. Tomorrow is uncertain, but now is within your grasp. The power to change is in your hands. The moment you choose to look within and find what is already there, waiting to be recognized. I know that difficulties can make you think that the path is distant and difficult, but in reality, you're closer than you think. Sometimes the biggest obstacle you face is not in the world around you, but within you. Doubt, fear, insecurity, they all create a fog that prevents you from seeing the clear path that is already in front of you. And when you choose to trust the process, when you choose to listen to your own truth, the answer will come easily and clearly. If you look at your life, you'll see that the most decisive moments didn't come from something external, but from an internal decision, a moment of reflection, a decision to trust, to forgive, to take a step toward what you knew was right. These decisions don't depend on circumstances or people, they come from within. The answer is always within your reach, waiting for you to allow yourself to perceive it. I know that in the midst of chaos you can feel disoriented, but it's when you think you're lost that the answer begins to appear. By accepting that the answer is already within you, you find a power that you didn't know you had. It's not a power that comes from outside, it's a power that is born in your heart, in your confidence in yourself, and in your ability to hear what you already know but may have ignored for a while. When you stop looking outside yourself, you'll find that the answers are there in the stillness of your being. It is in quieting your mind, in looking within, that you begin to find what was already there. There's no need to look anywhere else, because the answer, the peace and the wisdom is within you. All you have to do is stop and listen. Now, with that clear, you begin to realize that transformation doesn't happen at some point in the future. It happens in the now. What can you do with that? What is in your power right now to take a step towards the change you want? I see you. I see how the weight of life often seems unbearable, as if the burdens you carry are more than you can bear. The fatigue, the disappointments, the losses, the feeling of being overwhelmed by all that demands your attention and effort. Sometimes the weight of responsibility is so great that you don't know how to go on. But I'm here to remind you that even when the world seems too heavy, there is a word of comfort waiting to ease your heart. You are not alone in this journey. I know that sometimes it seems that no one understands, that no one sees how hard you've worked, how much you've given of yourself. But I, who know every one of your struggles, am here to tell you that relief is closer than you think. True peace, the kind that soothes your soul, doesn't come from running away from problems, but from knowing that you can face them with the strength and grace that comes only from a deep connection with the divine that lives within you. I don't promise that challenges will go away, but I do promise that if you trust, you will find the strength you need to get through each one. When the weight seems too much, that's when you can surrender to the rest I offer. I'm not asking you to carry it all alone. On the contrary, I invite you to throw on me what weighs too much. For the burden you carry doesn't have to be carried by your own strength. I have seen the pain of those who walk through this world, and I have also seen the relief that comes when someone chooses to rest in my presence. I, the Christ, do not come to take away the challenges in your life, but to give you a new perspective on them, to remind you that no matter how great the battle, you are not fighting alone. In weakness, you will find strength. In fatigue, you find rest. Life can sometimes seem like an endless battlefield where hope is lost amidst the obstacles, but what I bring is the certainty that victory is already within your grasp, not because of what you can do on your own, but because of what you allow me to do through you. When you surrender to me, you discover that you don't have to carry the weight of the world all at once. You can take one step at a time with confidence, because I am by your side. The difficulties you face are real, and I'm not here to ease the pain or the weight of your sorrows. I know how hard it is, but what I invite you to do right now is to stop and think, what have you been carrying alone that you could put in my hands? What is weighing you down so much that you can no longer carry it? Often, you feel like you're losing control, like everything is falling apart and there is no turning back. But the truth is that even in moments of total fragility, you can surrender to something greater than yourself. There's no shame in resting, in asking for help. Relief comes when you choose to trust that I am the one who can restore what is broken in you. I have seen what suffering can do to the human heart. I've seen the loneliness, the pain, the abandonment, and that's why I'm here, to show you that you don't have to carry it all alone. When I said, "Come to me all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest," it was a promise of comfort, a promise that you could find rest in your moments of greatest need. If you're feeling that way right now, don't be afraid to surrender to that promise. I know how you feel, and I'm here to give you the peace that passes all understanding. As you allow me to be the foundation, you find strength you didn't know you had. The weight you feel lightens, not because the problems have gone away, but because you've learned to carry your cross with a strength that comes not from you, but from something greater. And that's how true transformation happens. When you learn to trust in something greater than your own strength, when you choose to rest in my embrace, when you understand that although the weight is great, my presence is greater. Whatever you're going through, believe me, I am with you. The moment you choose to trust, something lets go, something calms down. And when that happens, you begin to realize that even though the world around you continues to demand a lot of you, the peace that comes from within allows you to move forward. Not by your own strength, but by my grace. For true strength lies in trusting, surrendering, and understanding that you are not alone. So in this moment of fatigue, when it seems like the journey is too long, allow yourself to rest. The weight may be great, but the comfort and peace I offer is infinitely greater. And as you learn to trust, the burden will become lighter. Now think for a moment, what are you carrying that needs to be left behind? What do you need to surrender so that peace can fully enter your life? Relief lies in surrender, and surrender is the path to true peace. Have you ever stopped to consider what it really means to live in peace? Not the peace that comes from external circumstances, but a peace that transcends everything you're experiencing right now. A peace that doesn't depend on the things around you, but comes from something deeper. We often get lost in our search for a state of calm that is based on controlling what is happening around us. We want things to fall into place, problems to disappear, and only then we believe can we have peace. But true peace, the kind you long for, doesn't come from outside. It comes from within. I know that you often try to control the situation, try to make everything happen according to your plans. But what you may not have realized is that the peace you seek is not in control, it is in trust. True peace is not about controlling life's storms, but about learning to navigate through them with serenity and confidence. And that's what I'm offering you. A peace that doesn't depend on the waves, but gives you the ability to ride them. When I spoke of the peace that surpasses all understanding, I was speaking of a peace that cannot be explained by words or understood by the human mind. It is beyond what we can see with our eyes. It is not a peace born of the absence of conflict, but a peace born of trust in something greater. This peace comes from knowing that no matter how intense the challenge is, there is a greater power that is with you every step of the way. And when you truly trust in that power, that peace will be yours. I know that you often look to the future for the solution to the peace that you so desperately need, as if one day, when things settle down, peace will finally appear. But what you may not realize is that peace is already here within you, waiting to be experienced. You don't have to wait for circumstances for peace to emerge. It can begin to blossom now, the moment you choose to trust, the moment you stop fighting what's happening and start opening up to what's good, even in difficulty. The peace you seek is not something you'll find in things or people. It's not in what you own or control. True peace lies in your ability to trust, to let go of what cannot be controlled, to surrender what does not depend on you. Peace lies in surrendering to the Father's will, in knowing that even if you don't understand it all, there is a greater plan at work, and you are a part of it. Every time you feel restless, when fear and anxiety begin to dominate your heart, remember this peace that I invite you to live. Don't let the world take that peace away from you. Peace is not the absence of problems, but the presence of unshakable confidence, even in the midst of difficulties. I invite you to live this peace that transcends human understanding. It's not about denying problems or ignoring difficulties, but about trusting that in the midst of everything, you are supported by something greater. Peace comes from trusting the Father, and it is this trust that will guide you. You are called to live this peace. Not a superficial kind of peace that depends on circumstances, but a true peace that begins in your heart and spreads throughout your being. When you fully trust what I am offering you, you will begin to experience this peace in a tangible way. It won't be a peace you feel only in moments of rest or silence, but a constant peace that accompanies you in all circumstances. This peace is not something you have to look for outside of yourself. It is within you, waiting to be discovered. Know that you have experienced moments of restlessness, doubt, and perhaps even despair. But now I say to you, this peace is within your reach. And it's not a peace that disappears when challenges arise. It's a peace that remains, a peace that is unaffected by the storms of life. It is an inner state, a confidence that remains firm no matter what happens. I call you to this peace that passes all understanding. It is not explained by logic. It is not controlled by reason. It just is. When you surrender to this peace, you begin to realize that there is no longer any need to fight circumstances. You accept life as it is, knowing that even in the midst of struggle, you are guided, supported, and loved. And with that, peace begins to grow within you. Now I invite you. What is within you that still needs to be trusted? What are you still trying to control that needs to be surrendered so that you can live the peace that I have called you to live? Control is a weight that prevents peace from flourishing, but surrender brings deep and lasting rest. It's when you let go, when you trust, that peace begins to transform your life. And this peace that you are now beginning to experience is beyond human understanding. When you surrender to it, not only does your life change, but the way you see the world changes. Everything begins to make more sense, and you begin to realize that true peace doesn't come from external circumstances, but from an unwavering trust in something greater. Now stop for a moment and breathe. What is taking away your peace? What needs to be surrendered so that you can experience the peace I have called you to live? How often have you found yourself carrying something that you should no longer be carrying? Some pain from the past, an unresolved hurt, an unfulfilled expectation. I know you've been through difficult times when the weight of the world seemed to be on your shoulders, and you often found yourself trying to hold on to something you could no longer support. I'm here to tell you that now is the time to let go. You don't have to carry this burden anymore. It's not because you're strong that you have to carry the world on your back, but because through trust, you find the freedom to let go. Have you ever stopped to think how much lighter life becomes when we manage to let go of what is weighing us down? It could be a hurt from the past, an unresolved situation, a pent-up anger that has only harmed you. I know that we often hold on to these feelings as if they protect us, as if our pain is some kind of shield. But in reality, it has only imprisoned us. I invite you to let go, not out of weakness but out of wisdom. For you will only be truly free when you let go of everything that keeps you from living fully. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or ignoring what has happened. Letting go means making room for what is new, for what is waiting to be experienced. Each time you choose to release what no longer serves you, you open your heart to healing, to renewal. I have not come to promise you a life without pain, but to offer you a life where pain does not define who you are. When you choose to surrender what is choking you to the Father, you begin to feel the lightness that comes with true trust. I see how much you've been carrying. I know there are times when it seems like the weight of life is too much, that you can't handle it anymore. But today, I invite you to trust that what you're carrying can be carried. For in truth, you were never meant to carry all of this alone. You were made to live in freedom, to experience the peace and joy that comes from a surrendered heart. Now think for a moment. What have you been holding inside that is no longer serving your growth? What is keeping you from moving forward, from living the full life I invite you to live? If you're stuck in the past, if you're still carrying resentment or fear or hurt, it will continue to consume you. But when you choose to give it all up, when you choose to release it, you make room for the new, for transformation. You make room for true peace to enter your heart. I know that trust isn't always easy. I know that you've been disappointed many times, and that's why trust becomes difficult. But I'm here to remind you that the trust you need is not in yourself but in something greater. Trust isn't the absence of fear, but the ability to go on in the face of fear. And trust in God is not about understanding everything, but believing that you are being guided in spite of everything. And the moment you trust, the weight that once seemed unbearable begins to dissipate. When you choose to trust and release, you're not just handing over a physical or emotional weight. You are releasing a piece of your soul that has been scarred by suffering and pain. You are making room for forgiveness, healing, and above all, transformation. Letting go is not an act of weakness, but of great inner strength. For often, the greatest act of courage is to let go of what you think you must hold on to, trusting that life will become lighter, more hopeful, and more peaceful. I invite you to take that step now. If there's anything you've been carrying around, whether it's pain or anger or insecurity, I ask you to release it to the Father. Trust that in doing so, you will find the peace that you are seeking. I know it's difficult. I know you're afraid to open up, to surrender. But I tell you, true freedom is in surrender. You don't have to carry this anymore. I offer you peace. I offer you comfort. And as you trust, you will find that the burden is lighter and the path is clearer. I know that you have faced difficult times and that sometimes it feels like you don't have the strength to go on. But believe me, you are never alone. I am with you, guiding your every step, helping you find your way to true peace. And when you fully trust, you will begin to see that even in difficulty, you are supported by something greater. Don't allow yourself to be a prisoner of what is hurting you. Let go of what weighs you down. Right now, in this moment, make the decision to let go of what no longer serves your well-being. This does not mean that you are giving up or that you are weak. On the contrary, it means that you are choosing to live free, to choose the peace that I offer you. This is your opportunity to release all that holds you in the past and embrace the new, to embrace life with confidence and ease. And in doing so, you will discover something wonderful. When you release what doesn't serve you, you begin to see the world with new eyes. You realize that you no longer have to carry the weight of the past, that you have a new chance, a new opportunity to live in peace. All you have to do is trust. And when you do, you'll discover that true freedom lies in letting go of what weighs you down and trusting in the transformation that comes from within. Now look at yourself. What do you need to release? What is weighing you down that needs to be released into the Father's hands? Now is the time to understand that you do not have to carry the weight of the world alone. Peace, relief, and transformation are within your reach, ready to be experienced through your surrender and trust. Releasing that which weighs you down is not a sign of weakness, but of immense strength. When you choose to trust, you open yourself to true freedom, a peace that transcends human understanding and resides deep within your heart. You have been called to live fully, to experience a life of serenity and trust, regardless of circumstances. The path is before you, and all that is required is that you take the first step, trust and release. There is nothing to wait for. May you live in peace from this day forward, and may your journey be guided by the light and love that already dwells within you. May your heart be filled with trust, and may you discover the true freedom that comes from surrendering everything that weighs you down to the Father. May the peace that passes all understanding reign in your life, today and always. May your path be illuminated, and may you discover the peace that dwells within you.